Greeting, everyone. My name is David Ramazani, and I've been grappling with this puzzle. And the puzzle is, it's been now about 248 years that we had American Revolution in 1776. And so when I compare this revolution, there was a revolution in 1906. That was the Iranian Revolution, or Iranian Constitutional Revolution, 1906. And so the American Revolution, after 248 years, is still going strong. But the Iranian Revolution, Constitutional Revolution, failed on 1979, after 73 years. See, 73 years was the duration or the lifespan of the Iranian Constitutional Revolution, and the American is 248 years, which next month we will be going to 149 years, or very soon 250 years. So why there is such a big difference? Why American Revolution has been sustainable, successful, and has blossomed, but the Iranian Constitutional Revolution of 1906 failed after 73 years on 1979. Okay, so that's the puzzle. Now, this is my attempt to solve this puzzle, to come up with a solution. So let's see if I can do it, or if I can explain my attempt to solve this puzzle. And so to do that, I'm going to share with you a diagram, as always I do. And here is the, okay. So what am I showing you in here? First of all, let me tell you about my sources. In here, the books that I'm using, my sources for this homegrown political philosophy, and one is Avesta. Then the second one is Histories of Herodotus, Cyropedia of Xenophon, and The Republic by Plato. And I'm going to explain why. And Bible, because there are so many references to Persia in Bible, in Old Testament. That's why I use that. And Shahnameh by Ferdowsi. So let me explain why am I using The Republic by Plato. Plato was influenced by the Iranian or the Persian philosophy, or Iranian worldview. How? Plato was the member of Pythagorean Academy. And Pythagoras, he spent about 11 or 12 years in Babylon, which was the capital of first Persian Empire. And he had some dialogues with the Persian Magi. These were the priests of the Zoroastrianism. And so he was influenced by the Iranian thinking. He's the first philosopher who came up with this concept of philosophy. This concept didn't exist until then, and which means lover of wisdom. So, but how did he came up with this concept of lover of wisdom? Because there is a very similar or almost the same concept in Persia, which is Mazda Yasna. It's a two-worded concept. It's a composite word, Mazda Yasna. The prefix Mazda means wisdom, and the suffix Yasna means worship or devotion. And so you have devotion or worship of wisdom in Persia. And then Pythagoras comes up with lover of wisdom. Almost same, very parallel. And so you can tell where that concept might have migrated from. And another influence was Heraclitus of Ephesus. And Heraclitus believed in undying cosmic fire, very similar fire as the Zoroastrian in the Zoroastrian fire temples. And fire represents Asha, truth, or Ahura Mazda. And so you see the alignment of the Heraclitus thinking or his philosophy with the Persian philosophy, with the Zoroastrian philosophy or Mazdayasna philosophy. You see how they are aligned with each other. So Plato was influenced by both of these two philosophers, and so that's why. And he uses the concept of philosopher king with someone like Cyrus the Great and in the Republic. So you see how some of these concepts might have been borrowed from another culture. So that's why I'm using this as one of my sources to study the Iranian political philosophy. Now, what are the what do we have under this political philosophy? We're going to explore. It's going to include justice as the key component of political philosophy, any political philosophy. And in fact, the Iranians, in Shahnameh, we have the very first dynasty. It's called Pshtadian. Pishtadian is a composite word. Pish implies pioneers, Pishtazan or pioneers of Dad. The word or the concept DAD, Dad means justice. And so that's the root, the root word for justice. So Pishtadian means the lawgivers and the pioneers of justice. So you can see how justice was important for this Iranian or Persian political philosophy. Then we have rights, and like human rights, like minority rights, individual rights, all of this. And power. Power, like political power. So you need that, you need to have that to be able to manage the society. So, and authority, similar to power, you want to have a political authority. And we see that Thomas Hobbes, in his book Leviathan, he talks about political authority. And he says that, so we need to have contract, and every individual needs to give up some of his rights and to give that to the political authority, which is an external entity, in order to be able to manage the society, that political authority. So it's a similar concept in here under the teachings of Zarathustra. And the fifth one is the common good or greater good, which is the society, common good. So we want the decisions that are being made to benefit the general public, everyone, to be beneficial to to everyone. And the last one, governance, how to manage the society. To do that, you need to balance between the rights of individual or also the responsibilities of individuals and the society or in the society. So it's a two-way relationship between the individuals, every individual, and the society. So this is where the governance tries to maintain balance between these two entities. And so now I am talking about political authority because the only difference that I can come up when I do a comparative analysis between the history of political philosophy in the West and the history of political philosophy in Iran or Persia, the very major difference that we come up by this comparative analysis is the political philosophy. And that's why the Iranian constitution was sustainable only for 73 years, and it failed on 1979 after 73 years. And the American Constitution is still going strong. And within a month or so, we'll reach 249 years. So we are almost in 250 years. And and same thing with the British or the Glorious Revolution as well as the French Revolution. The point is, the Western political revolutions have been sustainable for a long period of time. But the Iranian constitutional revolution of 1906 failed after only 73 years. So all these Western revolutions, they were backed up by a very long tradition of Western political philosophy, starting with Plato. He wrote The Republic. Then Aristotle. He wrote Politics. And then just add to that. Until in the modern era, during the Renaissance and the Enlightenment era, we have Thomas Hobbes, Leviathan, John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and we have many other philosophers. Or even before Thomas Hobbes, we had Machiavelli. He wrote The Prince. So we have this long list of books and literature that backs up these Western revolutions and their constitution as well. So that's why they have lasted. And not only they've been sustainable, American Revolution has blossomed. This country has become the lone superpower of the world. So all of this is because these Western revolutions and their constitutions are backed up with a very strong tradition of political philosophy. That's why. So now let me switch and share with you a different diagram. And in here, I want to show you this another diagram that I have. Okay, so as you might see, okay, what am I showing in here? I am sharing with you that under the teachings of Zarathustra, at the very top, I have teachings of Zarathustra. And then I have Mithra, the concept behind covenant, contract, oath, agreement, friendship, that which binds. That's what is causing this binding. Mithra. And which migrated to Roman Empire. And also the individualism. The teachings of Zarathustra are based on the individual responsibility, the personal responsibility. It's all based on individualistic concept, idea. Why? Because it's the individual who decides to have meaning for his or her life. Because the individual pursues meaning of life. This is the pursuit of meaning of life, pursuit of happiness. This is the pursuit of purpose in life, having a purpose in life, having a purposeful life. So that's where this individual comes in. It's not for an authority, let's say a church or a mosque, to give meaning to your life. It is you as an individual decide how to create meaning for your own life. Okay? And it's not the job of political authority. It doesn't matter whether it's the religious authority, like church or mosque or synagogue, or whether it's a political authority, like government, to provide meaning for your life. It is you do that for yourself. That's what the teachings of Zarathustra about. So, justice. And under justice, we have human rights, and we have equal opportunity, and we have social justice. You see, all of this are classified under justice. And then we have individual agency. So you see how these two line up. They're aligned. Individual agency. And under that, we have representation. Very important in American Constitution. Representation. And the democracy. Individual agency is one of the foundation of democracy. Representation is another foundation for democracy. And accountability. Holding accountable for the decision we make, accountability. And civil society, or civic engagement, or civic responsibility. This is where the civil society is. Very important in democracy and individual agency. Then we have Kshatra Vairya. Kshatra Vairya means desirable dominion, governance. And what does this include? It includes civil society. These two, the individual agency and desirable dominion, they share this civil society. So it goes under both. And effective administration, effective governance, very important, is a key element. And economic development and environmental sustainability, very important. Environmental sustainability under desirable dominion. And so another component of teachings of Zarathustra. 4, political philosophy is wisdom. Under wisdom, we have education and self-improvement. The Zoroastrian triad has good thoughts, good deeds, and good words. This is where good thoughts is. Education and self-improvement. And under this education and self-improvement, we have formal education system, and we have public education policies. And under wisdom, we have the libraries and public learning spaces, as well as research and innovation under wisdom. Maybe I should mention that the deity or the Lord or the God of Zoroastrianism is called Ahura Mazda, Lord Wisdom, or Lord Wise. So again, the focus is on wisdom or wise, even for the God or the Zoroastrian God, which is called Lord Wisdom. You see how important wisdom is, that they named their deity, their God, as wisdom. Even the name of the religion is called Mazdiasna, as I mentioned in my previous diagram, meaning worship or devotion of wisdom. So it keeps repeating, you know, this wisdom, how important it is, and it has the it's the highest. It's probably on the hierarchy of Zoroastrian philosophy. Wisdom is at the very top. That's how important it is. And just to mention some of these concepts, like the concept of country, which in Avesta is called Keshvar. And it repeats, you know, this many times, 117 times in Avesta. And in histories, which is mostly about the Iranian history, and you see this repeating 498 times, almost 500 times. Country or Keshvar. Cyropedia by Xenophon, and he uses country 58 times. Shahnameh uses twice. Bible uses 295 times. And in Quran, you only see it twice. See, it's the least. It's at the bottom of the list. See, because the concept of country in Quran is not important. Why? Because Quran emphasizes the Ummah society, not the country, the Ummah. So that's why there is no reference on country except twice. And other concepts, govern or ruling. You see that 46 times in Avesta, 167 times in the histories of Herodotus, And Cyropedia uses that 120 times to govern. And Cyropedia is about Cyrus the Great and his education. And in Shahnameh, you find it 22 times. Bible uses that 417 times. And in Quran, you only see it twice. To govern, to rule, twice. Land or territory. In Avesta, 14 times. Histories, 70 times. And in Cyropedia, it's referenced 13 times. Territory. And Shahnameh uses that very frequently, 177 times. In Bible is the highest, 1,368 times. And Quran references 98 times. Satrap, governor. It's used in histories 39 times and Cyropedia 18 times. Kashatra, meaning sovereign. A sovereign king, a sovereign country, sovereign. In Avesta, you see that 110 times, histories 27 times, Cyropedia twice, Shahnameh twice, Bible 297 times, and Quran references sovereign only 12 times. And usually it implies Allah. That's what Quran's definition of sovereign is, the Allah. And it's only used 12 times. And flag. Flag used in Avesta 17 times. And histories of Herodotus references it only one time. And Shahnameh references flag 9 times. Right. So, as I indicated, I wanted to show, number one, how important it is to have political philosophy, or what role political philosophy plays in a country, or what effect it might have in a society. What is the job of political philosophy? That's why I started talking about why the Western revolutions, like the Glorious Revolution of UK, or the American Revolution of 1776, and 13 years after American Revolution, we have the French Revolution. And all three of them, their revolutions, have been sustainable, have been stable, have been successful, and have blossomed. Especially the American Revolution has blossomed. And this country, which was colonized by the British colonial powers, and now is the lone superpower of the world. But the Iranian Revolution only lasted 73 years. Very short. It failed on 1979. So what was missing? The main component, the most important component of Iranian Revolution on 1906, compared to the Western Revolution, like the Glorious Revolution of UK, American Revolution, and French Revolution, all of them, they were backed up by Western political philosophy. But the Persian Revolution, the constitutional revolution of 1906 did not have any backing, did not have political philosophy to back it up. And it failed. You see why it failed? There was nothing to support this revolution. Whereas the revolutions that we have had in Europe and in the United States and other countries in Europe, all of these revolutions in the West, they have had the strong backing, the strong support. They've had the very strong foundation of political philosophy to support them, like a shock absorber. In any country, there always will be, there always is competition, conflict, disagreement, tension, always going to happen. But you need to have very strong shock absorbers like political philosophy to maintain stability, to protect the revolution. You allow different sides to hash out their differences, to work out their disagreements, but the foundation of the revolution is so strong that it can handle all of these shocks. It absorbs these shocks, and still the revolution going strong. The system is sound and it's intact. So this is how I solved my puzzle that I've been grappling with, is that this is the missing item. This is the most important item which was missing in the Iranian constitutional revolution of 1906. And the solution is a homegrown political philosophy. The solution is not to copy-paste, to try to copy from other countries. The solution is to work out, to develop a homegrown political philosophy, a political philosophy which is coming from the history of that nation or that country, from the culture, from the civilization, from the identity of that nation or that particular group of people. So that's where this political philosophy needs to come from. That's what needs to include because it's for that country, for that nation. And that is what was missing in the Iranian constitutional revolution of 1906. And this needs to be addressed. This needs, you cannot have a sustainable system without political philosophy. So why the three major Iranian dynasties or empires, like Achaemenid Empire, like the Parthian Empire and Sassanid Empire, they lasted for so long. They built an empire that was sustainable for a very long time. And the Parthians and Sassanid, they had very long rivalries with the Roman Empire, more than 700 years. And despite all these rivalries, conflicts, wars, all kinds of issues, and yet they survived. So how could they survive if they didn't have political philosophy? It's not possible. For a healthy society, for a healthy political system, for a successful political system, you must have strong, solid political philosophy as the foundation of that empire or of that civilization. And then you would have a successful political system. You would have a sustainable political system for very long duration of time, for long-term purpose. Political system without the political philosophy cannot be sustainable. Just like what we saw, what we experienced in Iran. The constitutional revolution of Persia in 1906, it only lasted 73 years. And then these mullahs, Islamic clergy, together with the communist, Marxist, since this was during the Cold War, and that's how these two groups together, they were able to strangle the Iranian 1906 constitutional revolution. They destroyed. And they blamed the Shah for all this. So that's what I wanted to cover with everyone, and to show you by a comparative analysis, to show you the difference between the three major Western revolutions and the Iranian revolution in Middle East or in an Islamic country, and how different they are, or what is missing on which side. And this the reason I limit this political philosophy to the era, to the history of Iran before Islam, because then the political philosophy that existed before Islam built that foundation for those three major empires, Achaemenid Empire, Parthian Empire, and Sassanid Empire, and allowed them to build a dynasty, a strong dynasty, sustainable dynasty, and they built such a major empires, which included a vast area of geography, included so many regions, and it was a huge empire. So that's why that particular political philosophy before Islam is crucial. It's very important. It's a solid political philosophy and can be a very good, solid foundation for the future of Iran. Because we cannot build a political philosophy based on Quran or the Quranic teachings. And that, as we see, since 1979, we see that for 45 years, the atrocities, the devastation, all these problems. So the Sharia laws would not allow to build a political philosophy. And especially since Quran does not value the concept like country, does not value even the concept like army, or the concept like nation. There's only 3 references. Or govern, there's only 2 references. So the Quranic teachings are very weak in terms of building a country, building a nation, building a city, a state, or a nation, a state. And it doesn't have those concepts or those values to support such an idea of a nation, idea of a country. And that's why, I mean, the Quran doesn't provide those tools, the political tools, to build a nation, to build a state. But Avesta provides those tools. It's very rich. That's the difference. We can use these political tools. It has a strong political toolbox in Avesta, and even Herodotus approves that, validates that, you see, because history mostly is about Iranian history. So you see that it validates so many of these values in this toolbox, political philosophy toolbox. And same thing, Cyropedia, which is about Cyrus the Great. It also validates, verifies the tools that exist in the teachings of Zarathustra in Avesta and Shahnameh. And since there are so many references about Persia, about Cyrus the Great, King Darius, Xerxes, Artaxerxes in Bible, so you see also another validation or verification of the tools of political philosophy in teachings of Zarathustra. These are used for the purpose of validation and verification. But those don't exist. It's very weak, very low in Quran. That's why we cannot use Quran as a source to build this political philosophy. But we can use this, and we can use the Republic of Plato, since he was so influenced by Pythagoras as well as by Heraclitus. Both Pythagoras and Heraclitus, they were perfectly aligned with the Persian philosophy, with the teachings of Zarathustra, with the Persian mindset or culture, Persian thinking and world view. That alignment existed. That's why. I hope this helps to explain the situation, why we have so many problems on that part of the world, and why there are so much differences, and where to look for these differences. Yeah, are we looking at the right place for these differences? So these are the areas that we need to explore to see, to find what is lacking, to find the void, and how we can compensate, how we can reconstruct or rebuild that void, how we can fill that void, how can we correct it. So to come up with a homegrown political philosophy for Iran, in fact, for any country, in order for any country to be able to have a thriving society, a successful revolution, political revolution, a sustainable political system, they need to come up with this political philosophy, which is the main foundation for a healthy political system. Fortunately, in the West, we have a very long tradition of political philosophy, starting from Plato and then Aristotle, all the way to the modern days. But that is what is missing on the Middle East, on Iran, mainly, and you see how much problems it can cause when such an important component of the foundation is missing. And translating books of political philosophy from another culture, another country, is not the solution. It has to be homegrown. It has to be homegrown because this homegrown political philosophy It needs to be comprehensive of history, identity, culture, and civilization of that particular nation or country or geography. That's why it has to be homegrown. If you like these contents, please like my videos. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would appreciate it. And this would be my talk or conversation for today. And I will see you on my next video.